I want to tell you a story that will make your heart race, maybe even give you a chill down your spine. I know how it feels to be scared, to feel like the world is against you, or worse, that someone you trust might not be who they say they are. This story is about fear, about a moment when everything changed in an instant. It's about a man with a gun and a woman who didn't know what was coming. But before we get there, I need to ask you something. Where are you watching this from? Are you in a quiet room, or maybe on the go, listening as you walk? Whatever the case, I'm telling this story for you. You're the reason I'm here. You're the one who matters. Please take a moment, press that like button, and let me know where you are. I love hearing from you, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts after this. Let me start by saying this. I've seen things that would make most people run. I've walked through dark alleys, heard whispers of secrets no one should ever know. But nothing prepared me for what happened that day. That day, everything changed. So, let me tell you the story of how a man with a gun pointed it at my wife, not knowing she was the real sheriff. It started with a simple request. My wife, Clara, had been working late at the office, and I decided to bring her dinner. She always said she liked the quiet of the town, but I knew she hated being alone. I pulled up to the house, saw her car in the driveway, and felt a little relief. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the street. I knocked on the door, expecting her to open it any second. Instead, the door creaked open slowly, and there stood a man. He looked like he had just come from work, wearing a uniform that didn't quite fit right. His eyes were cold, his posture tense. He held a gun in one hand, pointing it straight at me. "Who the hell are you?" he asked, voice low, almost growling. I froze. My mind raced. What did he think I was doing here? Was this a mistake? Did he think I was some kind of intruder? I tried to speak, but my throat felt dry. I'm her husband," I finally managed to say. The man didn't lower the gun. He just stared at me, like he was trying to decide if I was lying. "You don't look like much," he muttered. I wanted to argue, to explain, but I couldn't. I could only watch as he stepped back into the house, still holding the gun. Then, without warning, the door slammed shut. I stood there, stunned. What just happened? Why was he pointing a gun at me? And why did he act like he owned the place? I didn't know what to do. I called out, but there was no answer. I knocked again, louder this time. Still nothing. That's when I heard a voice from inside. A calm, steady voice. "Is that you, Mike?" "Mike? Wait, that wasn't my name." I looked around, confused. "No, it's not Mike," I said. There was a pause, then the door opened again. This time, the man was gone. In his place stood a woman. She looked tired, but her eyes were sharp, focused. She studied me for a moment, then smiled. "You must be the husband," she said. I nodded, still unsure. "Yeah, I'm Clara's husband." She stepped aside, letting me in. "Come on in," she said. "You must be exhausted." I walked inside, still on edge. The house was quiet, almost too quiet. The man, Mike, I guess, was nowhere to be seen. Clara came over, wrapping an arm around my waist. "Are you okay?" she asked. I nodded, though I wasn't sure. "What was that all about?" I asked. "Why did he point a gun at me?" Clara sighed, looking away. "That was Officer Mark. He works for the town. He's been suspicious of everyone lately, especially strangers." I frowned. "But I'm not a stranger. I live here." Clara hesitated. "I know," she said softly. "But he doesn't know that yet." That's when I realized something. Something that made my stomach drop. "Wait," I said. "You said he works for the town. But, aren't you the sheriff?" Clara looked at me, surprised. "How did you know that?" I shook my head. I assumed. I mean, you seem like the type." She smiled, but there was sadness in her eyes. "You're right. I am the sheriff. But Mark doesn't know that. He thinks I'm just another citizen. And he's been acting like a cop, even though he's not one." I sat down, trying to process everything. "So he's not really a cop?" Clara nodded. "He's a volunteer. Or at least, he used to be. But he's been acting like he has authority. And now, he's taking it too far." I looked around the house, feeling the weight of the situation. "So, what do we do?" Clara stood up, her expression serious. "We have to figure out what he's really after. He's not just pointing guns at people for fun. There's something else going on here." And that's when the phone rang. Clara answered it, her face pale. "Yes, this is Sheriff Bennett." "What's wrong?" I watched as she listened, her hands tightening around the phone. Then she hung up, turning to me. "It's worse than we thought," she said. "There's been another incident." Someone was attacked near the old mill. I stood up, my heart pounding. Who? Clara looked at me, her voice barely above a whisper. It was a woman. She's in the hospital. And Mark was the first one on the scene. I felt my breath catch. You think he did it? Clara didn't answer right away. She just looked at me, her eyes filled with fear. I don't know, she said finally. But I have to find out. And that's when I knew this wasn't just about a man with a gun. This was about something bigger, something dangerous. We had to act fast. We left the house, heading toward the hospital. The streets were empty, the silence heavy. Every step felt like a risk. I kept glancing over my shoulder, half expecting to see Mark watching us. When we got to the hospital, the news was worse than I expected. The woman had been badly hurt. No one knew who had done it, but the police were already questioning people. Clara went to talk to the doctors, while I waited outside. I leaned against the wall, my mind racing. How had this happened? How had we not seen it coming? Then I heard a voice behind me. You shouldn't be here. I turned around, and there he was, Mark. He was holding a file, his expression unreadable. This isn't your fight, he said. I took a step forward. It is now, I said, because I'm not going to stand by and let you do this. Mark's eyes narrowed. You don't understand what you're getting into. I shook my head. I understand enough. You're not a cop. You're just some guy with a gun, pretending to be in charge. For a moment, he didn't say anything. Then he took a step closer. You think you can stop me? I met his gaze, unflinching. I think I can try. And that's when the lights went out. The hospital went dark, and the sound of footsteps echoed down the hall. I heard Clara shout something, but I couldn't tell what. I reached for my phone, but it was gone. Then a voice. Stay where you are. It was Mark. I didn't move. I couldn't. My heart pounded in my chest, my mind racing. What was he going to do? Then I heard a crash, a door slamming, and then silence. I waited, my breath shallow. Then I heard Clara's voice. It's okay, she said. It's over. I stepped forward, my eyes adjusting to the darkness. I saw her standing in front of the door, her hand on her side. She looked shaken, but she was okay. What happened? I asked. She looked at me, her eyes full of emotion. He tried to run, she said. But I stopped him. I didn't know what to say. I just stood there, staring at her. You did the right thing, I said finally. She nodded, but there was a sadness in her eyes. I hope so. We left the hospital, the night still heavy around us. I looked at Clara, at the strength in her eyes, and I felt something shift inside me. This wasn't just a story about a man with a gun. It was a story about courage, about standing up for what's right, even when it's scary. And it was a story about love. Because no matter what happened, I knew one thing for sure. I would never let anyone hurt her again. And that's the lesson I want you to take with you. Sometimes the people we trust the most are the ones who surprise us the most. And sometimes the bravest thing we can do is stand up for what we believe in. So wherever you are, whatever you're going through, remember this. You are not alone. You are not invisible. And you have the power to change things. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like it, share it, and leave a comment. Tell me where you're from. I love hearing from you. And remember, every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. But the real story is what happens after. So keep going, keep believing, keep fighting, because the world needs more people like you.